we are interviewing name
Gene Pompa.
a stand-up comic, actor, and writer who works in the film industry, and we are going to ask him a few questions regarding art analysis. So, Gene, at what age did you start your career?
I was 23 years old.
So who were your influences that got you into stand-up comedy / acting / writing?
Steve Martin and Bill Cosby. I like Bill Cosby because he was a black comic that didn't do black jokes, and I wanted to be a Mexican-American comic that didn't do Mexican-American jokes.
That didn't usually do stereotypical jokes about your race.
I didn't want to be an ethnic comic just because I was ethnic.
Right, of course. So given your past roles, do you feel as if you've been discriminated against, and do you have any roles that could be an example of this?
I'm not sure discriminated, but definitely stereotyped. The last one I read for was an Adam Sandler film called Jack and Jill. They wanted me to play a gardener, and they wanted me to talk like this. And then my wife, she died, and she's probably up in heaven right now trying to climb the fence. But I said I didn't do it. You know, I dressed up in a suit when I got there because I thought they might give me another role to
Right.
read for, but they didn't. And then after that, they weren't my friends.
Right. For future Mexican Americans that want to work in the film industry, what advice could you give them?
You have to create your own lane. You have to write your own scripts. You have to create your own plays. You got to find a way to carve a niche for yourself. It's the racism towards Mexican Americans in Hollywood is so institutionalized. It's beyond ludicrous. It's hard to believe 2016, but it's true. It's disheartening that all of a sudden in the 80s and 90s they decided that we're all going to be illegal immigrants or some sort of janitor or gangbanger.
Right. So, experience in the film industry. Do you think within the next generation we'll be able to see more of those figures? Do you think the stereotypes will be broken within my generation, or do you think
I
it's
think
just
slowly
gonna
it's
come?
being chipped away at, and we're still probably a long ways out, even though we're 16% of the population, and the vast majority of that is here legally, by the way. And that's true. That's just the way it is. So it's still disheartening, but we thought this was going to be better 20 years ago. It didn't change. We thought it'd be better 10 years ago. It didn't change. And even now, it's still there's not one show on any of the primetime networks with predominantly Latino cast. Not one.
Right.
Out of 100 shows. So it's still despicable. And I think that probably in the next decade it'll change dramatically, and I'll tell you why. Because young people don't need the foreign networks anymore. They can go on YouTube. They can go to Funny or Die. They can create anything they want on their own and just pursue it. They don't need some, white person who's closed-minded, in a ivory tower who's never even, been exposed to Hispanics outside of maybe the person that watches their kid. We don't need their pat on the head anymore. So that's what's going to change.
Right. Thank you so much, Gene. We had a pleasure interviewing you today.
Thanks for having me.